I decided to read popular indie romances for a while. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, I wanted to let you guys know that I'm entering a new era in my reading life, and that is focusing more on popular indie romances. I think it's just because a lot of my friends here on booktube read a lot of popular indie romances, and they influence me to try to pick up these books. And then I also see these books kind of blowing up on bookstagram a lot, so it further leaves me to be more intrigued in reading these books. And I'm not on booktok, but I'm sure these books are also on booktok too as well. So I wanted to give it a try, and I wanted to see what the hype was about, and I wanted to see if the hype was worth hyping. So the first book that I did pick up is this one called The Co-op by Tara Duet. Now, Tara has written Funny Feelings, which is a book that has everybody talking about on bookstagram a lot. And so I wanted to see how her writing was like. I wanted to see if I would enjoy her writing. I wanted to see if she would be an author that I would be putting on my radar in the next coming months, and so on and so forth. So the co-op essentially involves our heroine, who is not quite a lawyer, but she is kind of like a lawyer still. So I think she gave up her practice, but she was kind of making a name for herself, making money, and now she's kind of like tutoring and being a mentor for law students. Essentially, she is given this piece of property back in her small town by a relative, and she wants to kind of just rid her hands of it. She just wants to sell it as soon as it's renovated, and then she can focus on her big city life. So she moves back to the small town, and she's looking to hire a contractor who just so happens to be her childhood nemesis slash friend. They were friends growing up, but then something happened that led them to be enemies, and then they just kind of never talked ever since when they became adults. And when she obviously left the small town, they just never really kept up the conversation. It turns out that our hero is the contractor, and our hero has been living in this space for the time that she has been out and about in the city, and it's because this piece of property was kind of like given to the both of them. So they both have the right to the property, but essentially they're both going to be working together to renovate the property so that they can sell the property, and that he can have a nice chunk of change that he can use towards his business as well. For the time being, they are being forced to kind of live in sort of the same space, and they are forced to work together and to kind of work out the past and the history that they had with each other, and to work out, reasons of why they were never together in the first place, or reasons of why they had that falling out to begin with. So overall, I think the writing is very entertaining. It is easy to read. It grips you as soon as you start reading it. The characters are not annoying, and there's character development, and each character has kind of more to their surface area. So there's layers and layers of character development that is going to happen throughout the whole book. Overall, I just gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars because I felt that like our characters and their motivations and the way that they react to a lot of things left me just kind of befuddled and be confused. I think that a lot of the times the characters were running a little bit on the more immature side. That kind of left me a little bit frustrated because obviously when you are enemies to lovers, there are going to be a lot of situations and scenarios where they prank each other, and then that just kind of left me feeling like, are we children? Like, why are we doing such childish acts of display? So overall, still enjoyable, but it was enough to push me forward to read other books by her. So after giving this 3.5 out of 5 stars, I went on to Funny Feelings. Funny Feelings is a book that you've probably seen all over Bookstagram. If you are on Bookstagram, if you are on BookTube mostly, you'll probably hear about it from a few of your fellow booktubers that you've been watching for years and years and years. If you're on booktok, I'm sure it's been trending on booktok. Funny Feelings involves our heroine having this career that I have never really seen before in romance stories. Our heroine is a stand-up comedic, and I love stand-up comedians. I love female stand-up comedians. So it was very entertaining to watch someone kind of, do their thing in a book. Our heroine is also secretly in love with her manager, who just so happens to be our hero. Our hero used to be a comedian himself. He has risen to fame. He has done his thing. He has built out his career. But the next path that he's chosen to take is to actually grow and develop careers of other comedians. And his client is our heroine, and he has really no time to kind of focus on all these things going on in his life, mostly because he's also a single father. And the trio work together a lot, and they kind of go on tours together. They develop this like amazing relationship, and it's very fragile because it's like a friendship, right? So they don't want to have their feelings impact their working relationship and also their friendship as well. The heroine and hero haven't been really discussing their feelings towards each other, haven't been wearing their hearts on their sleeves until the idea is pitched to her that she would have a segment for herself. She would have this once in a lifetime opportunity to kind of like have this television segment, but the producer thinks that it'll be a better idea and it'll be more captivating to the audience if she was in a relationship with her manager. So they decide to have this kind of like fake dating situation, and it turns into this fake dating trope. Now, for me, I just didn't really like this book because I felt that the motivation behind why they needed to fake date felt really forced. It didn't feel natural. It didn't feel realistic. And it left me kind of feeling not attached to the characters at all. I had to extend my belief a lot, and I just didn't really enjoy it as much as I should have. So I ended up giving this one around a 2.5 out of 5 stars. It was entertaining a lot of the times. I liked our characters and their personalities, but I just couldn't get over like the initial start to their relationship, and it left me drawn out of the book a lot. It left me kind of spacing out when I was listening to the audiobook. Another popular book that I have been seeing a lot on bookstagram too as well is called In the Weeds by B.K. Borison. And now this one involves a grumpy sunshine trope, sort of. Our hero is a farmer on like this like Christmas tree farm slash like actual farm, and he's been, you know, kept to himself for a long period of time. He's a man of few words, and he does not wear his emotions on his face. He does not talk when he doesn't need to talk. And so he sees someone new in the small town that he has grown up in, and he's definitely intrigued by her. And she is at the bar. She's pretty, she's sparkling, she dazzles, and they end up having a really awesome one night stand. But she is really just kind of like a bird, and you can't really keep her captured. So she leaves the next day without leaving a note or without saying goodbye. And he's kind of left stunted and kind of disorientated because he thought that there was like maybe there could have been something more. There could have been an opportunity to at least dive deeper into the relationship. And obviously he's affected by the fact that, you know, this one night stand, this person just left without any manners of saying goodbye. So he's left a little bit upset by it. So when he sees her again in the small town, he's obviously very grouchy, he's very growly, he's not the nicest person towards her, and rightfully so. Our heroine is there because she is a social media influencer, and she's running this social media contest to help spotlight these small towns and to spotlight these small businesses. And one of the small businesses that she's spotlighting is where he works, which is the Christmas tree farm. And so they have to work together so that they can make sure that the reality TV show pans out really well, and then they're forced to be in each other's proximity a lot of the times while they're working on this show. Now, for this book, I feel that I've read B.K. Borison before, and while her writing is good, I feel that it reads slow, and it leaves me just getting bored most of the times. Like, I feel like I always check out of the story because there's just like the description of the characters, the description of the setting is just, it's just boring. There's not really like a liveliness to it. It's slow burn, but it's not like the liveliness of a slow burn that will keep me interested and intrigued. And this is obviously a very unpopular opinion because so many people love this series called the Love Light series. Everybody loved book number 1. I unfortunately thought book number 1 was mediocre too as well. And now I'm thinking book number 2 is mediocre, and I'm giving it a 2 out of 5 stars. I know. It's just not for me. The writing is just not what I wanted, and it was not what I was looking for. I think it's a me issue, but hopefully you guys will check it out if you guys think the synopsis is interesting. So the next book is kind of like rising to fame. I feel like it just got published, and I think it's going to quickly get like 10,000 reviews very soon. It's called My Dark Romeo, and I freaking love this book. This book is from Parker S. Huntington and L.J. Shen. It is a arranged marriage of convenience trope. Enemies to lovers. It was hot. It was steamy. It was full of humor. It was full of chemistry. It was just action-packed too as well. Basically, our hero really hates our heroine's family, and our hero has been planning this for a very long time to how to take down our heroine's family. Our heroine, she's kind of like labeled as like a princess. She's very airy. She's, not too bright. She's not involved with the family business. So she doesn't really care. She just kind of lives her life freely and she just enjoys it. So I love that for her, where she's kind of living a stress-free life. Essentially, she is seduced by our hero at a party and she is humiliated in front of like the group of people who are attending. And her father decides that the best way to save the reputation of the whole family is to have our hero marry our heroine, even though the fact that they don't know anything about each other and then they just had this like one quick hookup situation and now they are forced to be with each other. Obviously, she is not happy about it because she is a piece in this game that her father and the hero is playing. So she is begrudgingly married to this guy. It's enemies to lovers. She does not want to listen to his orders at all. She's being forced to live in his house. She's being forced to live under her rules, but she is spunky. She is sarcastic, she is witty, she does what she wants, and she doesn't care what other people say. Our hero is like trying to control her, but realizes that she is like, she has a fiery spirit, has a ball of energy, and that he is going to have like this really big headache because he is just flabbergasted that somebody is not going to listen to his orders. And it's this like really fun dynamic between these opposites attract romance characters, and I really enjoyed the book. It was like quite long. It was 366 pages. It was a 12-hour audiobook, but I kept listening to it. I took no breaks because these two characters just kind of bounced off of each other, and it was just so thoroughly entertaining, and I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. And I feel like if you haven't read this book yet, you definitely need to add it to your TBR if you want an arranged romance. But anyways, that is it for all the popular romances that I have read recently. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and check out my other videos soon. I'll see you guys again next time in a new one. Bye!